I was aware of this young man's response to me putting out with force my displeasure. And I said, all right, I learned that part. Okay, so that was one part of the upheaval. Then the other thing was having someone, thank God Derek was there, to pull up all that wet carpet and everything. It was just unbelievable. And to heave up furniture and move it into another area. And we got on the phone and called everybody in the neighborhood, and they were all there for us and coming with the dry vac things, and do you want me to help you here? Let's see if we can't get the... And so I learned something about my neighbors, that in a distressful time, they were willing to be there. They were there, you see, wanting to know. Didn't care how long you kept this. One guy was a builder. What did he do? He went out and brought back one of these vacs that you use in a huge furnace and put that there. And so we had that whole area drying with this massive dryer that would go to a furnace. And I just said, look at this, look at this. One right after the other. Now you want to hear something unique? We ended up getting the same man who had put down our carpet when we first built that house. What are the odds having this man who at one time changed his business, went out of his business, and then decided to come back in the business, and we ended up with him. And it was like having family in the house, because you knew the mother, the sons, and what have you, and watched them all grow up, and they had come in there to put it down, and it was just a wonderful thing. We ended up with the same plumbers that built the house, who had moved on to another plumber. When I looked at the odds of this taking place, and it was just a pleasure to have these kind of workmen in the house. You could go out and go on about your business, you know. It was just wonderful having them in there. And so I turned around and looked, and I have a whole new downstairs. Completely. Everything redone completely. I even bought some curtains. So and Derek's reminded me, he put up for me one of these electric curtain rods. So I've got 17 feet of a curtain rod going across you know, one of those little extra. I love that. I tell you, it's like a toy, you know. But the fact of it is, I'm trying to let you see that out of something negative that we would call an upheaval period, something positive can come from this. So I ended up with an achievement in place that was absolutely, I got a nice little meditation room, you know, downstairs there with a little quiet center that I hadn't created before. So I want you to know that in this period, you're going to have these ticky-tack things and some big things that might take place. I want you to remember how I handled this. I want you to remember how I handled this, so that you will in turn know how to handle that situation that will bring, that you will come face to face with. We are in a time period right now where age doesn't matter. And you all know my age, right? Okay, all right. Age doesn't matter. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. You got 90-year-olds out here with their own TV show, cooking shows, sex advice. You have those going to school. I'm telling you, they're getting up and going to college at 90 years of age, opening up businesses, getting together, having bands. I mean, on the net, there's a group of 80 and 90-year-olds that got on just for fun, you know, YouTube, and they were hits. Everybody was, now they got a recording contract. Did you know that? They turned around and they showed a bunch of them that were around about 82, 75 that had formed a skating club. And they do acrobatic things on skates and everything. I'm amazed. What they're doing is they are setting the groundwork for all of our work for the future. You're not going to be leaning on a cane and dying at an early age. You are creating the body that you want with your mind. You are creating that body with your mind. What you want is exactly what you are going to get. Now, there are times during the day when you are going to have to make a list of things that you want and things that you don't want. For your assignment, I would like for you to make sure that you create 3 things that you really do want. Now, I don't want you to do it right now because we're not going to take that time. But I want you to also create 3 things that you don't want. Because until you know what you don't want, you don't know what you do want. Because when you're using your mind, you are constantly thinking about what you don't want. And that's what you're creating, what you don't want. The more you keep your mind on that negative, the more it solidifies. And then it proceeds to move. Now, how is that? Why is all of that? That comes into being because you are in the process of utilizing what we call the force. You are utilizing the matrix. You are utilizing subatomic particles, the 0 point energy. You can call it what you want. It is energy that has its own basic frequency that absolutely adheres to you and your thoughts. So when we proceed to pay attention to what we want, we create this energy. It starts to move. Now I'm going to show you something that happened to me in 1970. In 1970, I didn't know this, but my guardian teachers were busy around me, but I wasn't that much aware of them. And they were preparing me for this time period here. So I'm going to tell you what happened. I was sitting in my room in the Randallstown house. We lived in Randallstown, Maryland. And while I was meditating in the family room there, all of a sudden this force of energy that had a face on it, I mean a face, eyes that proceeded to move outward with streaks of yellow and red that just poured off of the face, living energy just pulsating off of this face. Face was shaped like this. The eyes were very kind. And the energy was pulsing so strongly through the body that I felt like I was on fire, both in the top of the head and all in the back. And there, with this energy in my consciousness, I could not absolutely open up my eyes. And it said, "All that you desire shall be yours." I was scared to death. I told this story to a workshop up there in Carleton College in the early 80s, and there was a wonderful artist sitting in my workshop at that time, Arthur Douay. And Arthur Douay almost jumped out of his seat when I proceeded to describe the energy of the yellow and the orange and the white flowing off and the look on the face. And he said to me, "That's a deva. I see devas. I have pictures of the devas." And he presented me with the deva, which is the Kundalini deva. This is what I saw. Now I'm going to tell you, this scared the living bejeebus out of me. I mean, the fire inside the body, along with that vibration, was something else. And for Arthur Douay to say that he'd seen these. He could go where waterfalls were and then draw the devas that he saw in the waterfalls. All of these, having that kind of etheric sight was absolutely beautiful. But when that particular being said, all that you desire shall be yours, I was really not at this stage where I am now, where I would absolutely believe that I'd be worthy of having something coming